If you have a phone interview coming up, one of the best things that you can do is ask the recruiter to explain the role before you start to talk about yourself. I'm going to explain what I mean in this video and give you 4 more great tips to help you pass a phone interview. So make sure that you subscribe down below if you want more free career content on resume writing, interviewing, and getting promoted. Usually, the phone interview is the very first step in the interview process, and it's going to be conducted by a recruiter. Because you're going to be interviewing with a recruiter and not a hiring manager, they probably won't be able to fully assess your technical skills. So as a result, a lot of the questions that you're going to get in these phone interviews are going to be research or behavioral questions. If you don't know what the research and behavioral type questions are, make sure you watch this video linked up here where I go over all of the different types of interview questions that you can possibly get. Now, I mentioned earlier that you should make the recruiter explain the role to you first, and this is going to be critical and it can really make or break your phone interview. You may have already read the job description, but there's usually a lot more context that they don't tell you. You're going to want to know things like what are the immediate projects that you're working on and what are the main problems that this person in this role is supposed to help solve. And sometimes some of the skills that they list are required and some of them might be able to be learned on the job. So make sure you get all of this context early because then you can really tailor your experience to that job. Now, tip number 2 is to make sure you take your phone call in a really quiet place with no distractions that has very good cell service. If you're worried that your house is too noisy or distracting, I recommend taking your phone interview either in your car or even in one of your closets. But make sure you do check your cell reception. I know that parking garages may seem great because they're really quiet, but usually they have a very poor cell signal. Tip number 3 to pass your recruiter screen is to smile when you talk. Now, I know that it's a phone interview, so they actually can't see you, but smiling actually helps add a very pleasant, upbeat tone to your voice. And because they can't see you, there's no body language, so what that really means is your tone of voice actually matters more than the words that you say. Now, if you don't believe me about smiling, just check out this example. I walked in the park. I walked in the park. Can you spot the difference? And tip number 4 is to have your resume and some notes with you for the phone interview. Because they can't actually see you, you should take advantage of this and make sure that you set yourself up for success by having all of these resources handy. Now, for your notes, make sure you don't read off of a script. Instead, I recommend that you only have bullet points that you want to follow or that will help you keep on track. And this brings me to tip number 5, and I recommend that you actually print everything out on paper, not use a laptop. Now, I don't recommend keeping everything open on your laptop because they will be able to hear you clicking on your keyboard, scrolling through different windows and screens, looking at your notes, then at the job description, then back to your resume. It just doesn't come across well. That's why instead, I like to have physical paper copies out and you can just lay them out in front of you. And so that way they won't even hear pages flipping or turning. All right, just make sure you follow these 5 simple tips and you will pass your next phone interview and get through that recruiter screen. Thank you all for watching and make sure you subscribe down below for more free career content and comment what other phone interview tips do you have for our community. Thank you all for watching and we'll see you in the next video.